Welcome guys to episode 3 of my HTML guide. Today we're probably going to be talking about TR tags, we're talking about tables, we're going to show a bit of CSS, but I'm not going to go straight into that because I want to do that separately. And I'll talk about meta tags, and you'll see as you go along the video, but we're going to learn a lot today, so that's what that matters. But first of all, let's start with our tables. So I'm here going to create a table called for gym hours basically. So the gym opening times, and that's what we're basically going to do. And inside here we're going to have our um, title inside our body, and then we're going to create a set of table tags. So we're going to go like this, and we're going to close them, and then we're going to get a set of table tags. We can basically start off with our th tags, and basically what these are table header tags. So these are going to be your basically titles. So we're going to have 7 of these, and each one with a day of the week. So we have Monday, Tuesday, and so on. So you want to create your TR tags, and then we're gonna add another pair of tags called TD tags, which is just table data tags. And here we can talk about our gym's hours. So we can say, we can put 7 again, 3, 6, 7, and we can add here on Monday we'll go 6 to 10. We don't have to be too specific because it's not the actual thing, but 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. sounds about right. And we can do that for the days, and then maybe change it for Saturday and Sunday so that we can have, say, 8 to 8. And as you can see, it looks pretty interesting right now, but we can of course change it, because when can we not change stuff in HTML? We'll do our table row tags, and basically we can put BG color, and we can basically color our table so it looks somewhat pleasant to the eye. So we can pretty much say any color, and this can be RGB, hexadecimal, or just say the color itself. We're gonna talk about and say, I'm gonna put blue because blue is pretty nice. Actually, no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do light blue. Very nice. And then we can also add another one, and go like this. By the way, it is going to be American writing, so color. And then we can say cyan. Cool. Very nice, not too shabby. And now I can go back to where I wanted to go on the table, and we can do the exact same thing, but it will look nicer if I did it in this order. And let's give it black. Okay. And as you can see, it is a very nice table. We can also add in our title header tags. We can put width equals say 150, so you put 100, and once we do this we can copy and paste it to all of them. So we'll stop going on to that. Don't forget Sunday. Also add a align feature. So this is where we, instead of wanting it to have it over here, so on the left side, we want to put it in the center. So now we can also put middle instead of center, because that's just the syntax for it. We've got a width here, and then finally, to actually make everything good, we can then have width here. Well, I don't know why I put that there. I'm going to do width equals comma, and we can have, how we basically work the table width out is we get all of these numbers. So we've got 700s, which means we've got a width of 700. So that's what you put inside here. So you do the whatever's inside these and times it by how many of them are. So we've got 700, so we've got that. Basically, we've got a nice looking blue table, which I'm very proud of, to say so myself. So guys, now that we're here, we can talk about a bit of CSS. I don't want to cover too much CSS just because I want to make a different series on it, but I want to teach you guys the basics and how it goes with HTML. So let me show you what you guys can do. So you can have the style command, and inside our style command we can have different things. So like the font color, the background color. In our case, we're going to use the background color. You can experiment however you want, but let's see what color we can use. We can use, let's try this one, bisque. Never heard of it, probably not saying it right, but it's beautiful, so let's use that. And as I said before, we can not just say the name of the color, we can say the hexadecimal version or the RGB. There's probably more, but that's all I know for now, and that's all that you should probably be stressing yourself over. But we can use the style command again for this one, and instead of using background color, we can use color, and we can use this. And let's see, we can use, let's say, what goes nicely? We can say blue. So we can do this, and I think we should use blue because, you know, blue's a beautiful color as well. Everything's beautiful in my opinion. But as I said before, we can also go like this, and we can say color again. And in this case, let's choose RGB. So when you want to use RGB, you want to type in the command RGB with the parameters inside the RGB values. So in our case, this will be, let me close this off because I don't know why it's not closed off, but nice. Let's say we want 0255 130. I don't know what it'll come up as, but let's see. Oh, so we got a green. You know what? We're not even gonna complain. It looks nice. So we can do it one more time. So what we want to do is we want to do a hashtag, and let's give ourselves a, we'll do put 6 hexadecimal. So we'll do 1 2 AB FF, and we got the color. I mean, we can say blue again. I don't even know what it is. I don't know. I think I'm a blue guy today. That's what I'm feeling like. But that's pretty nice. Now that you know how to use it, it's a lot more useful. I feel like you guys will be using more of this one and this one instead of this one, just because you have more variants and it's just a lot easier, so to say. But lastly, if we move on, we can use style again, and guess what? We can combine the two. So when combining the two, we can say background color. So we can say background color. Let's say purple. Yeah, that looks disgusting, but we're gonna keep it because I'm starting to like it. But then you can separate the two using a semicolon, and then you can go again and say color equals we don't even need to put equals, we can say color, and we can say, what do you want the font color to be? What goes with purple? Let's go white. That is actually terrible, but you can see how beautiful my webpage is. Moving on, we can now talk a bit about these tags called span tags and div tags. The span tag is used when you want to add a markup for text, or like just focus on a portion of a document. So in our case here, we got our nice little p tag here, and I want to say color in this highlighted part that I've highlighted here. So as you can see here, we got span. Okay, completely failed it. Say span style equals, and let's say we want color. Color is equal to, actually we won't do it like that. We'll do color. What should we do this time? That is not brown, but we're going with brown. early on. We can just go like this and it will close. As you can see, it only covers "we are the coolest" at this part, and that's basically it. And then moving on, we can talk about our div tags. And except from how before, what you would have to do is in the p tags you have to do style, and then you have to do background color, um, pink. That's what you've had to do before, and then you would have to copy and paste it, to here, and then again and again and again. Well, we got a fix for that. So instead of having to do all of that, we can add our best friend div tags, and we'll take these ones. We'll put it at the bottom of our p tag, and we can do the same thing we did before. So we can say background color pink, and as you can see, it covers the whole thing. So that's basically what the div and the span are. There's nothing more to them. It's literally just that. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let's move on to our last topic, which is meta tags. So let's move on to our last portion of the video, which is meta tags. So meta tags are basically a tag that tells the web page what your web page is about. So this can be like who the owner is, so the owner is Casian, etc. And you also don't have to close your meta tags. It will always be just one tag. And if you hover over it, we'll have a quick definition where it's basically just the metadata of your web page. So the meta element represents various kinds of metadata that cannot be expressed using the title. So in our first use that we can do, we can firstly talk about the name. So we can say the description of our web page, and then we can say the contents of this description will be Casian does free HTML Lord for beginners. So nothing will actually pop up. As you can see, nothing popped up. It's all blank still. And make sure to put this in your header tag, because you're not actually supposed to output anything. It's literally all about telling what your web page is about to the web page. So here we got our description, and it says that Casian does free HTML tutorials for beginners, and that's basically what the web page is about. So then we can move on, and we can put our second meta tag in. So with this one, we can say meta again, and we can say name, and instead of having a description, we can say keyword, and then you can say, oops, we can say contents again. We can say content, and we can say equal to HTML. We can say free, and we can say anyone. Don't know why capital, but we chose to do capital, so that's what we're gonna do. So we can close that off, and this basically just does the same thing as the description, but as you can see, in only 3 words. Okay, so let me get rid of this because it's actually very annoying. I'll give you another one. So we can talk about the meta tag again, and we can say the name, and we can say, for example, the author of the web page, and inside the content is saying who the author is, and the author is obviously Casian. And realistically, it says it's pretty easy and pretty simple on what we're trying to say here. And we're gonna close that, make sure to close it, and then inside another meta tag, we're gonna have something a little bit different, and we're gonna have a name again though, and inside our name we're gonna have viewport. And basically what we're gonna do is say if you're using a mobile device, we're going to make sure that it's compatible with a resolution of a phone, or Lord knows what you can use nowadays. You can use tablets, let alone pretty much anything. So you can say viewport, and you can say content, and let's say in our content we say width is equal to device dash width. Then you can also say initial scale is equal to 1.0, and then of course you can close the meta tag. That's pretty nice, and that will basically just allow your web page to be varied depending on the device that's being used. So I have two more for you guys. So we can do this, and we can do meta again, and inside our meta tag again we can say char set, and this basically talks about the character set that we're going to use. Of course you can use ASCII, so you can say ASCII, but we don't want to use ASCII because no one uses ASCII anymore. So we can basically say UTF and 8, and this is basically just Unicode, so your biggest character set that you can probably get nowadays, unless there's been something new, but this is what you want to put your bets on when it comes to a good character set, because it uses every language, any symbols, any emojis. Is beautiful. But lastly, on the last kind of meta tag example that you guys are probably going to need to use is probably the more useful one, which is when you want to refresh your web page. So say someone's been on the web page for like 20 minutes and they haven't done anything, so you want to just refresh the web page, and you can put this in seconds, so I can say 5 seconds. So yeah, this basically you just refresh your page continuously every 5 seconds, but we'll just keep it to like 60 seconds. But basically that would be the end of episode 3, and we've covered quite a lot. We've covered some CSS, we've covered the meta tags, we've covered the div and span tags, and of course the basic aligns and tables, etc. But I think I got for you guys one more HTML episode, and then we'll probably move on to CSS, and I hope you guys get so much better at this and be able to build your own web pages and create something amazing. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to comment, let's say broccoli, and if you comment broccoli, it means that you've watched up to this point. And also, thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.